For too long, India remained a spectator. While others built, we borrowed. Until a generation said, enough. This generation, they're stubborn. They don't dream about a new India because they're too busy building it. While others wait for proof, Navam backs the proof makers when it's just a founder and an ambitious goal.
What is a good definition of an innovator? Innovator is one who does not know that it cannot be done.
Raman didn't wait for permission to discover. Kalam didn't wait for consensus to dream. Neither do today's founders.
It is not accidental. The great space powers are collaborating on the soil of India.
The time has come, India become a global institute of science.
वो दिन दूर नहीं जब पूरी दुनिया कहेगी डिजाइन इन इंडिया, मेड इन इंडिया.
The future isn't going to be imported anymore. Navam's companies are creating it. Navam Capital, investing in innovators who are bringing the future into the present.
Thank you. Good afternoon. May we encourage those at the back to please take their seats, because we are now starting with the next leg of our program. And these are our founder presentations. So without further ado, I'm going to call upon Pramod of Unbox Robotics to come and take the stage.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Pramod. I'm founder and CEO of Unbox Robotics. We started our journey in 2019. It's been 6 years. We have gone through all those, right from the prototyping years to POCs, pilots, and now we are looking at commercial scale-up across India and overseas. Happy to walk you through what we are doing. Essentially, what we are targeting is the supply chain industries across, let's say, 3PLs, e-commerce, retail companies. These companies keep sorting thousands and lakhs of packages every single day. We started with our core system, which is a multi-robot system which can sort packages for these companies. Almost a trillion packages are getting sorted every single year. And with the e-commerce and the quick commerce growth, we just are expecting a much more growth in this particular segment. And there is a very, very low penetration of automation today in these industries across India, across other developed markets as well. And we're just looking at disrupting this particular industry with a very innovative solution which we have built over the years. So what we are doing is we are automating this sortation problem for these companies, for our customers across the supply chain, right from fulfillment centers, distribution centers, or let's say mid-mile centers, last-mile hubs, or even return centers. So a package which is, let's say, fulfilled by any e-commerce or a retail company goes through multiple hubs within its supply chain, and it has a multiple types of sorting needs. We have built a system that can automate all those sorting needs from first to last mile, or even, let's say, a last mile or a reverse supply chain as well. So all those green boxes, this is where we are present today. So if you imagine any e-commerce company, they have these different types of fulfillment centers. You have a batch sorting happening just before packing, whenever you are sorting packages as per customers, identifying which package belongs to which customer. Or even after packing, you have to identify which package should go to which region or pin code or zip code. Then the package goes to the mid-mile, where you are now figuring out which package should go to which next hub, or let's say last mile hub. In country like India, we have more than 20,000 pin codes. So we are looking at how do we sort this very, very efficiently in as small space as possible. And then it goes to the customer after processing, getting it processed in the last mile. And it goes to the customer. Customer may not like the product. Again, it has to go through the reverse supply chain. We have to identify from where it came from. So we are looking at all these sortation needs. That's what we have been focusing on, because the existing systems were not so capable enough. In my previous role, I used to work in Flipkart. My role was to deploy automation and robotics for them. And we used to deploy such systems. So in fact, the second image is is my project at Flipkart as an employee there, where we deployed about 500 robots from China. But all these systems are very infra heavy, or let's say they require a lot of space, capital. We wanted to build something which is compact, modular, just like a Lego block. It is easy to deploy, easy to scale, and it without really intervening, like let's say without really disrupting the existing operational flow much. So the idea was to become like a very agile solution, which can be adopted easily, be it new facility, old facility, no matter what kind of facility you're looking at. It's easy to deploy the system we have built. So this is more of a representative image. I'll also show you some videos. What we have built is a multi-robot system. It has its own scanners, the multiple robots, the racking, or let's say the other sensors, charging stations. So all this is like a one system. So we never generally, like, let's say we don't really sell like an individual robots. We always sell a group of robots. So it can be 20, 50, 100 plus robots in one warehouse. Currently we are going live in Belgium, where in single warehouse we are deploying 155 robots for one of the French logistics company there. Our philosophy has been to have a very minimal, let's say, disruption and then go live faster. So we have been going live in such facilities. So this one is Zara in Spain, where we automated the sorting process for them near Madrid. This was our first deployment in Europe. We automated the store-wide sortation. So if somebody is placing order online on Zara.com, they can get their goods through our robots in Spain. The second one is Myntra in Flipkart Group. This is our one of the facilities we have automated for them, where we have more than 50 robots running in this facility. We are automating entire order consolidation process, which is like just before packing, we have to sort packages. So we have efficiently done that in a very small space. We have deployed 52 robots, doing almost 3,000 packages every single hour. Third one is DHL. This is our one of the, let's say, last year's deployment we have done for DHL for Adidas. Here we automated the post-packing sorting. So if you look at the like sequence, this is like store-wide sortation. This is order-wide sortation. After that, the outbound sortation, which happens right after packing. And then the last one is a reverse logistics use case, which we had done for one of the 3PL companies, delivery, where we automated the reverse logistics, return supply chain. So where the items are coming back from customers, and we need to identify which item should go to which retailer or which e-commerce company. Just going deep into maybe a couple of case studies. So this was done in one of the Flipkart's facility, Myntra's facility, where we deployed 52 robots. What we do is our robots get the packages from the feeding stations. That's where the scanning happens. And once the scan is done, our system takes care of all the sortation needs. So you have these 50 robots working together to do sorting of almost 3,000 items in this bin, the white color bins. And each bin belongs to one single customer. So let's imagine you ordered a shirt and jeans from any e-commerce company. You don't want these shirt and jeans to come in a different package. You want those to be combined. What we do is we do that. Like we do consolidation of these items in as per the customer, and it's a 24/7 operation. So allocation of these orders, fleet management, all that is done by us. And of course, the hardware part is also taken care by us. So we manufacture these robots in Pune, where we have an assembly line set up. And this system has been patented across India and US. We are now looking at getting a patent in Europe as well. And this one was deployed in Zara's facility in Madrid, near Madrid in Spain. This was one of our first deployments there. Now we are going live in their second warehouse, again in Spain. Here we have automated the entire process of outbound sorting as per stores. So you may have, like let's say Zara has hundreds of stores, and they have an omni-channel requirement where items are placed online, as in orders are placed online, but they want to pick it up from offline stores. So they need to identify which package should go to which store. And we have mapped those store locations in these white color racks. And these robots are sorting those packages as per those stores. So we started with a very small fleet of 6 robots. Now we have more than 20 robots in this facility. And now we're looking at like more warehouses with Zara and other fashion brands within the same group, like Inditex. Overall, we have been able to give 3 to 5 times productivity jump across, let's say, manual processes versus Unbox. We're able to do 3 to 5 times jump. Cost savings can be more than 50% per package, depending on, let's say, whether you buy the system or take the subscription of the system. So we offer two models to our customers. Some of the customers have gone ahead with the CapEx model. Some of the customers have gone ahead with the subscription model. But in both the models, there is an attractive ROI and the cost savings and the speed benefit, which we offer to the customer. And then importantly, we give this on a scalable basis. So a lot of our customers are scaling up. So they are adding more robots in the same warehouse. They're also adding more warehouse, in, like, let's say robots in the second or third warehouse as well. So that's where we are today. We have deployed almost more than 500 robots now. Most of these are now happening in Europe. More than 80% of our volume is coming from Europe. So currently we are present in India, Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Turkey. These are some of the examples. And we also have one warehouse coming up in US as well with a company called GXO, which is one of the largest 3PLs in that country. So that's it from my end. Happy to take any questions. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
We would next invite the team from Morphing Machines.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving this opportunity to present what we are doing. I'm Akhil from the founder's office at Morphing Machines. We are a fabless semiconductor company incubated out of IAC, and we are building a processor we call Redefine. And what is so special about this processor is that it can be reconfigured at runtime, and we are trying to build it as a truly software-defined hardware. And before I dig deeper, I would like to introduce our founders, Dr. Anjani and Professor S.K. Nandi, who are with me here today. Dr. Anjani is our founder and CTO, who has done a lot of research and holds a PhD in data flow-based architecture. And the entire architecture of our processor is based on that. And Professor S.K. Nandi, it is essentially his brainchild and the decades of research that he has done at his lab in IAC. So it's an outcome of more than 12 PhD theses and 25 master theses. And few of our key architects working on this processor were doctoral students under Professor Nandi. So Deepak is our CEO and co-founder who leads our commercialization and go-to-market efforts. Our technical leadership is comprised of semiconductor industry veterans who has previously worked for Intel, AMD, Xilinx, and Texas Instruments. They bring nearly over 2 to 3 decades of experience, each of them, who are guiding us in making this chip industry standard. And on the technical front, we've got collaborations with multiple firms based out of India, Europe, and US who help us with the software toolchain development along with the compilers and on the hardware side as well. And on the funding front, we are one of the first few startups who got allocated both the chip to startup as well as the design-linked incentive from the government of India. And on the VC side, of course, Navam is one of our investors, and we raised our seed funding of about 23 crores in June 2024, and last month we raised our Series A of 38.4 crores. And I speak here, we are working to increase our round size even further of Series A. And why we are doing this is to help us with our first test chip, which is going to be out in March 2026. And eventually help us plan towards our commercial grade tape out, which is planned for end of 2027. And now, before I talk more on that, I would like to give a one-liner introduction about a few technical terms. So a CPU is a central processing unit, which executes tasks sequentially. A GPU is a graphic processor unit, which is optimized to perform many identical mathematical operations simultaneously. An FPGA is a field programmable gate array, which is a board onto which any hardware design can be synthesized. And finally, an ASIC, which is an application-specific integrated circuit. And as the name suggests, it's specific to certain applications, and the chip cannot be reconfigured once it is fabricated. And Redefine, we call it as a universal processing engine, and it is not just another accelerator because it combines the features of all the CPU, GPU, FPGA, and ASIC. And the reason is the true innovation lies in its architecture itself, how it is built. Traditional compute is typically control flow based, wherein the processor tells the data how to be executed step by step. Whereas this one is a data flow architecture, wherein the data dictates the flow and flows through the compute elements. And now what this allows us is it helps us to exploit data parallelism, task parallelism, and pipeline parallelism, and which would help us immensely and achieve a lot when it comes to performance. And finally, it can adapt to different workloads, irrespective of any host CPU that it is connected to. Yeah, Redefine, our idea is to design it in such a way that it is future-proof and it can cater to computing over the next few decades. And it can have a few cores and can scale up to as many as 1,000 cores, which can help to cater to applications such as edge AI or even full data center inference models. But it only uses the compute elements which are required. It doesn't use the entire fabric as a whole it is available. And like I mentioned before, the parallelism that it exploits helps it to be massively parallel, and it can execute different composite heterogeneous workloads simultaneously, be it talk about edge AI, telecom, analytics. It can, all of them can work at the same time parallelly on the same homogeneous fabric, and there wouldn't be a requirement to stitch multiple hardware components, which I just described earlier, like a CPU, GPU, and FPGA. There wouldn't be any handoffs involved, which would reduce the latency, and that is the performance gain that I was talking about earlier. And most importantly, this is runtime reconfigurable in the sense that, let's say the workloads evolve, but the hardware has to change to accommodate the change in the workloads. In such cases, typically, we have to respin the entire silicon and fabricate a new chip. But for Redefine, all you have to do is reconfigure your hardware with a minor software tweak. And the flexibility and the power that it gives us is it can cater to any industry. It can be applied anywhere and everywhere, be it edge compute or automotive ADAS systems, 6G telecom, AI/ML workloads, or large-scale data centers. And now this capability of Redefine, where can it be applied? So one of the sectors where there can be a very good use case for this is the banking and financial sectors. So in banking, as of today, the encryption of the data in banking happens at rest or while the data is in transit. But the moment there is some sort of compute which is involved, the data is decrypted, which leads to operational risks. And banks today would want to use data intelligently in order to come up with better risk models, fraud detection, and compliance, while there is a massive roadblock when it comes to the data privacy and regulation. So they have to work in such a way that the data is always encrypted and the compute has to run on the encrypted data. So that is when one of the gold standard encryptions comes into picture, called as fully homomorphic encryption. So this technique allows the data to be encrypted through and through, right from the source. The data can be encrypted at the source, and the compute can happen on the encrypted data without the need to have having the data to be decrypted. So this essentially eliminates the small risk that is being faced today, wherein the database admins have access to the decrypted text in memory. So this particular encryption standard prevents that, and only before the data reaches the end user, the data is decrypted, but that still happens within the bank's trusted environment. So if there is a solution, why not use it? But today there is no hardware that can implement this particular encryption standard effectively. So they are trying out, all the global experts who are working on FHE, they are trying out multiple GPUs and a few research prototype GPUs and a few CPUs to see how it can work. But the results were not satisfactory because the kind of compute it involves requires multiple hardware components to be stitched together. And that is exactly where Redefine would fit in. So we would not require to have multiple components stitched together. All the compute can happen on the single fabric that will eventually save you a lot of power and also performance. It can be way more faster because the latency would go down drastically, eliminating the data movement between different hardware components. And also, okay, let's say this FHE standard, which keeps evolving, what if it evolves? Can redefine be still relevant? Yes, it can be, because the hardware itself can be reconfigured by using minor software tweaks. And this is what will be very attractive for secure transaction flows, especially in the banking and financial sectors. And now, what is our solution? Now, having said all of this, we are proposing a redefined powered FHE appliance which can sit in the BFSI data centers, which would actually solve the regulatory alignment, saying that the data is never decrypted, it is encrypted through and through. There is this zero trust security. There are specific DPDP mandates and other cyber security frameworks which the RBI has mandated, and eventually all the financial institutions have to follow that. Wherein the database admins also should have no access to decrypted data, even though it is happening only for a fraction of a second, even if it is in the memory. So that way it matters for BFSI, and also it will be a performance breakthrough, because currently a few of the research suggests that it takes about more than 12 minutes when a CPU of 8 cores is used, or slightly more than 10 minutes when a particular research prototype GPU is used. But our speculation of redefine based on our simulation results can improve that by nearly 1,000-fold. And finally, the cross-bank utility. It helps different financial institutions to share the sensitive customer data and run analytics on it, because there wouldn't be a requirement to decrypt the data, and all the financial institutions can do it seamlessly through and through. And yeah, so that is the solution, and our deployment model. For now, the plan is to have a pilot with the interested BFSI partners, and then as a second stage, we would want to work with the data centers who would be serving these BFSI clients to incorporate our FHE appliance into that. And phase 3 is to provide a cloud-based FHE as a service solution to anyone who's interested, and that would be beyond banking and financial sectors, because when you talk about healthcare or certain data-sensitive industries such as semicon fabrication, wherein the fabrication recipes itself is a sensitive thing and something which cannot be revealed, all of them would also be interested in that. So yeah, if this seems of interest or something relevant to you guys, we would love to talk to you today, or you can always drop a message to any of us. Thank you for your time, and really appreciate your engagement. So if time permits, we can have a few questions.
Yeah, maybe we can do that during the break, since we're running slightly late.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and we can go on to Satyamurthy. Satya is from SecureMachines, also incubated, also based in Bangalore.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a very nice space. Thank you, Navam, Rajiv, and Dr. Ray for inviting us here. So we are SecureMachines, and as the word suggests, the security is right in all our minds, correct? The Delhi incident that has happened, it's fresh in our minds. Equally important is also the data security aspects, right? So these are 3 actual attack scenarios that happened that we may have heard about. One is Stuxnet. This was an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities, infrastructure attack, which prevented progress of their nuclear program by 2 to 3 years. It delayed them. The second attack that I show here is gas pipeline attack, a petroleum pipeline attack in US. The third is a power grid attack done in Ukraine. So these are all infrastructure attacks done essentially where infrastructure was supposed to be protected with data security, right? So now what do we mean by data security? Essentially these are cryptography-based locks, just like physical locks. So we move to a different domain now, and we look at quantum computing. So quantum computing is great for a lot of things, right? Drug discovery, material sciences, AI, large modeling. And we know the progress because each of these giants, Microsoft, Google, IBM, all of these guys have come out with their own processor form of computing, right? Now, while quantum computing is great for all these fields, for data security, it's a big problem, right? Think of it like this. The number lock that we have in our, either our briefcases or in the large cargo bins, you have to guess the lock, right? You can guess if you have sufficient time, right? So all locks are built to withstand a certain level of attack. There is no lock that is universally safe forever. It's practically cannot be engineered. So this is where quantum computers coming in make all our digital locks that we have, cryptographic locks, weak. And this is why we need to shift to what is called as quantum safe cryptography. There have been essentially two paths that all of us would have heard of. One is QKD, the other path is PQC. At SecureMachines, we work on PQC. So a term now that is gaining traction and everyone becoming more familiar with is Y2Q, years to quantum, where quantum computers are becoming a reality, and therefore all our security algorithms, infrastructure, systems, and solutions, all of them need to be upgraded. Now, so this problem with quantum computers posing a risk has been known for a long time, theoretically, since 1995 with the Shor's algorithm, and later on with the Grover's algorithm. This was known theoretically, but the possibility of having a real quantum computer was not very visible, right? But this has changed now. And there has been effort around the world for the last 8 years in standardizing new mathematical algorithms or locks, cryptographic locks, that can withstand attacks from quantum computers. So this has happened. So now it has come to a stage where the industry has moved, the standardization has happened, and the industry is starting to move adoption. If you see, this is NIST from US, Germany, GCHQ from UK, and the Australia government. All of them are putting out clear timelines for migration of all crypto systems into post-quantum crypto-safe cryptography. These are visible today. Now, if you look at general network security, right, you see you have chips, devices, data centers, telecom infrastructures, open and closed networks going into satellite, applications in the cloud. For all of them are going to be impacted because of the quantum computers. Every layer is going to have an impact. And if you look at this entire layering of technology architecture, you find that there is one critical device in the entire system that acts as a trust anchor. And these are what are called hardware security modules, or HSMs. And these are devices that exist today, but don't provide quantum safe security, right? So typically these sit in data centers, but not owned by data centers. They are owned by different users. Physically, they sit in data centers. And this is where at SecureMachines, our first attempt with the post-quantum crypto technology that we built was to build out a product for an HSM. And this is Prastara. It's a dedicated security appliance. It's a root of trust for the whole network, and it needs to be security certified, right? So our device also supports classical encryption, which is today's encryption. This is in order to enable easier migration, right? So unfortunately, visually, what I can show is only a dabba, and there's a lot of complexity inside because it's a multi-domain product, right? You need to understand cryptography, you need to understand data security, and you need to have systems capability to tie all of them together, right? So this device has been built ground up within our organization. all the IP, every piece, the IP for silicon IP, the IP in terms of the intellectual property rights for the product, a number of them have all been, are all owned by us. There are no external components in this. Like I said, the threat is there and the quantum computer is there. So the question may be, okay, everybody is saying quantum, but is there a quantum computer that's capable of breaking this lock today, right? So not yet. But the way security operates is that you don't change to a new lock after the lock is broken, right? It's always preventive because the cost can be very high. So there is an attack called the harvest now and decrypt later, where people, though they cannot break today's encryption, keep recording the information and are able to break this later. Think of things like national secrets, right? That could be valid even after 20 years, right? So these are very important aspects. There are large migration efforts and opaque state actors. What we know about quantum computing is mostly what is in the public domain, right? Not really what countries like North Korea or China are really doing internally in terms of progress, right? Who migrates first? Typically, all the critical infrastructure guys migrate first. And what is critical? Both data at rest and data in motion. And both of these use cases have to be rooted in a trust anchor, like an HSM. Okay, in terms of the sectors, maybe this is not very visible. Let me, so who uses HSMs? So HSMs are used across industry by government, enterprise, and defense, and across verticals like digital trust services, payment transactions, data repository services, and general IT infrastructure, right? So if you, for example, take a if you take a government digital trust services provider like an Aadhaar who is giving you authentication capabilities, they use HSMs. Enterprises, all the organizations have to keep their primary cryptographic keys in an HSM. Generate, keep, and operate in an HSM. In the defense, all the network communications, again, the keys have to come from HSMs. Every single rupee transacted on UPI, Visa, MasterCard, all of them get digitally signed from HSMs. Anybody who stores a large volume of data, the NSE, health records, all of them need to encrypt. Where do they generate their keys from? Again, HSMs. IT security, when you have VPN, organizational VPN, for example, a company having a subsidiary in US, how do they work with each other? They have to set up their own VPN, right? So only if you own your cryptographic keys will you own your security. So your cryptographic keys have to be generated, operated within an HSM. And this is where HSMs become critical. So there are only 3 or 4 large global players, and this window of transition into post-quantum crypto offers us an opportunity to get into this market. Yeah, we hope to have our first 4 or 5 lighthouse deployments in the next 12 months. We have started our certification for the product from a US scheme, and we hope to have our certification by Q3 of 2026. Yes, I think I have shared everything that I wanted to. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Satya. We will again hope that there'll be plenty of questions during the break. Now we invite GalaxEye, Suyash, to take the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Rajiv, Dr. Anjan, and the entire Navam team to invite me here. Probably this is one of the most offbeat places that I've come to attend a conference. So, really fun to be here in Mumbai. Quick introduction, I'm Suyash. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of GalaxEye. We build satellites to gather data from space, and we build AI models to exploit that satellite imagery that we have gathered from space. The satellites that we build are world's first of its own kind. It hosts a very unique sensor combination that has not been attempted in the world so far. It hosts an optical camera and a synthetic aperture radar together. This is being done in the entire world for the very first time. And this satellite also happens to be India's largest privately built satellite so far. Thank you. We started in 2021 at IIT Madras with a small office of 250 square feet. In the last 4.5 years, we have been able to do all the relevant R&D and put together the satellite now and testing that pretty rigorously, which is going to set to launch in Q1 2026. We wanted that to be launched in India, but this time it's at SpaceX in the US. And after that, Q2 2026 is from when the data will be available. This is how some of it looks like. On the left top or right top image is the stored version of the satellite that'll go and sit on the launch vehicle of SpaceX. The mid-top imagery is the antenna that unfolds itself in space. It's a synthetic aperture radar. This is a vibration test setup where it is getting tested. This is one of the ISRO's facility in Bangalore. Our idea is to start with one satellite and then slowly and gradually, maybe not slowly, but definitely in this time span of 4 to 5 years, get to around 10 satellites in orbit and create an infrastructure from which we can get data every 3 to 4 hours of any point on Earth from space. With one satellite, we'll be at around 7 days, 5 to 7 days of revisit time. So we can come back over the Ballard Pier every 7 days, but with 10 satellites, probably every 3 hours, and count the number of ships sailing there. But why are we doing all of that? Why this world's first combination and whatnot? The reason is, the 70% of the Earth's landmass at any point in time is always covered by clouds. And this is not by us, this is a study done by NASA. Between 2000 and 2010, NASA collected all the imageries and then they averaged out what is the cloud cover percentage over the landmass. And they found it to be 70%. In fact, on oceans, it's around 90%. Now, for persistent monitoring, we need to get an imagery that a human can understand. And we have tried some ways to see through when it is not cloudy using an optical imagery and see through clouds with synthetic aperture radar. And these are the 2 attempts of any satellite company that has built satellites in the past. But this is a half-hearted attempt. On the left-hand side, it's an optical camera, maybe a multispectral camera, or you might have heard, interestingly, something called hyperspectral camera. Now, all these 3 are occluded by clouds. It cannot see through clouds, which means 70% of the time, when the landmass is covered by clouds, you can't get this sensor's imagery from space. On the right-hand side, you have synthetic aperture radar, which can see through clouds, but it's like X-ray, which only doctors can read it. It's like white dots and black dots. That side is the area where you need expertise. You need to understand math. You probably have to be a PhD in radar to decode that part of the imagery. So we wanted to build in a solution which is the convenience of a camera and availability of the radar. And that's how we thought, let us just merge the imageries that come out of 2 satellites, 2 different satellites. And when we did that, it was more erroneous than we thought. On one satellite, there was a ship. On the next satellite, the target was missing. the perspectives changed, and it was very inconsistent change detection. So we thought there has to be a better way, and which should lead us to not wait for imagery during an inconsistent weather condition. And we thought, what if we can combine an optical and SAR to make data available and understandable all the time? Which is what Mission Drishti is. It's the world's first multi-sensor satellite and our own proprietary technology called sync-fused optosar. It's a combination of optical and SAR fused synchronously in the orbit. Now with that satellite, we do three things. We're geared up and prepared to sell satellites and set up sovereign constellations for different countries or different governments, maybe different enterprises. We're geared up to build a constellation of ours which will bring out data and will sell data as a service to our customers. You can actually go and, like you order on Amazon, you can order an imagery. Just put up an area of interest, and whenever our satellite goes on top of it, we'll bring that imagery to you. And third is performing analytics on top of that data. Analytics is a wider domain. Analytics could be a defense-specific analytics, could be a commercial analytics as well. Think of us as the app store for Earth intelligence. We're building a data layer on top of which you can build n number of vertical applications. Start with defense, agri, and whatnot. This market is absolutely in all verticals. It's a $2 billion market which started back in 2021, continuously evolving, and I think it'll reach around $8.5 billion, just the data market globally. And to touch upon, something that is battle tested as a software. So in the recent conflict, without divulging into too many details, our software of multi-sensor fusion and AI was used in the situation. And this software basically allows people to detect objects and changes, weather agnostic, time agnostic. Our goal is to, not just create a business layer in the satellite data, but also, build an infrastructure for India, build eyes in the sky for India, and boost the sovereign capabilities. We started absolutely at IIT Madras as one of the labs, which was 250 square feet. And now we have grown to a larger facility. I know Mumbai real estate is quite a sensitive topic, but this is a 50,000 square feet facility based in Bangalore. It's in KIADB, in Aerospace and Defense Park. This is where we'll be manufacturing the next set of satellites. It is already hosting a mission control center from where we'll be operating all the satellites. Couldn't have done, without our wonderful team who comes from different backgrounds, several good companies, and a lot of them have studied in the US and returned back because they could not find a job in the strategic sector in the US. Good for us. And on the way, of course, it has been an amazing journey. We have picked a bunch of accolades. Speaking to Honorable Prime Minister was one of the interesting moments for us for around 20 minutes on his personal podcast called Man Ki Baat. And when I used to say Man Ki Baat in an international forum, they would say Man Ki Baat, which is like the monkey's bath. But yeah, generally doesn't work in the international forum to speak this out, but yes, I think here you will understand. At the same time, we have also collected, or rather, we have also made people invest into our businesses. And we are very proud of the investors that we have gotten so far. And as Rajiv says, we have a capital which looks like an Avengers of deep tech, right? And it has Navam and IdeaForge, Infosys, Special Invest, Mela Ventures, and Mount Tech Kavach. We're very proud to get all of them. And of course, could not have done with the founding team in place. We all met at IIT Madras, built Hyperloop in the past, and now building GalaxEye. Look forward to chatting more. Thank you.
Thank you, Suyash. May I invite Sarita of BotLab Dynamics?
Good afternoon, everyone. I really wanted to play this video, and therefore I had to trouble Suyash, my friend, to go before me. Rajiv and Anjan sir, thank you so much for having me here. I am truly enjoying my day in Mumbai. And honestly, I've never seen so much free space in Mumbai before. So it's really a pleasure to see Delhi-like spaces. You've seen in the video, we have a couple of verticals, and sometimes I do struggle to convince that it all boils down to single point. And I hope by end of this talk, I am able to convince you that it is all possible under one roof. So our three verticals are mostly drone light shows, for which we are very famous across India and some part of the world. And we have recently started a BotLab store. What it means is all drone components can be bought on our store, which is all the components made by us, designed by us. So we are trying to facilitate the drone community to grow faster with our component. And in our defense vertical, we are hoping this year we get an entry. So as Suyash was saying, he started from IIT Bombay, IIT Madras, and we started from IIT Delhi from a very small room. We started back in 2016. And so what struck me from your talk was you did very targeted R&D. And we were exactly opposite of you. We did R&D on everything. And in fact, one point we wrote a proposal on CubeSats for IDEX, and we were very mad when we didn't get it. So such was our confidence, and I think that false confidence sometimes takes you places. So we learned a lot, and we experimented quite a bit, and initial 3 years we were hell-bent on getting into defense, and we took our technology everywhere. We were first in the country to connect drones. We built a swarm of 10 drones, and then we took it to Pokhran, got beaten really badly. And then we realized that some point you have to make money. And I always say we came into Drone Light Show not because we were inspired, but because we had to find a way to be sustainable. And fortunately, it clicked for us. So we kind of translated our defense technology into a commercial space. And fortunately, because we did a lot of R&D and we were going and talking and showcasing our tech everywhere, and that network actually paid off. So in 2021, Ministry of Defense asked us if we can fly 1,000 drones. And such was our confidence, we had the ability of only flying 40 drones at that time. And we said, yes, why not get us some money and we can do it. So mujhe laga, just like any other, government projects, is just a meeting and they'll forget about it. So they arranged the funds for us, and then we had to actually fly 1,000 drones. But that made us very famous overnight. And we got another opportunity to fly 35,000 drones from Rashtrapati Bhavan. And it was such a big opportunity that you're flying in front of Prime Minister, President. And what brought our focus was to, it's not just a tech and R&D, you have to always think of the safety, because it's whether they are VVIPs or normal people. So that's had been our motto, that you fly drones because these are vehicles. So always focus on safety and security. That led us to build good product, be it for defense or for normal applications. And I'm very happy to share with you that now we have presence not only in India, we have presence in more than 10 countries. We have done close to 500 shows across the globe. And we have made 6 Guinness World Records. One was just recently in Karnataka for Mysore Dashera. And when we were doing business, I realized being famous in India doesn't help at times when you want to get good customers. So we were lucky to be selected for the first place in LA for drone show design. And that really brought us big, prominent projects, because it brought a lot of credibility to us. And going forward, you always have to diversify your business so you're not dependent only one source of revenue. So we have been innovating. We are, again, the first in India to have the ability to fly more than 50 drones indoor. So we now have started that business as well. We've done 5 to 6 shows. And our dream of coming back to defense has finally looks real now. We, 3 years back, won a project from IDEX, and we wanted to build a nano drone for defense application, which is small, portable, and can help each and every soldier, but also very not so expensive. And so our drone is now almost ready to go in the hands of defense. And we have done more than, 20 demos this year itself, and the excitement around this small nano drone is a lot. And we are learning quite a bit, and we are modifying, optimizing this drone so that we can address the needs that the soldiers on the ground have. And as I said, when you're building a team, and then if you let the team try their own ideas, so this project came just out of fun, because we were going to give the drone to defense, and then what we realized that a lot of time drones are not successful on ground because people don't know how to operate them. And so for fun, we thought, why don't we give them a simulator and let them have an experience first before they touch the drone. And now we realize it has become a product in itself. So now we are offering a simulator as a product to defense. And we have qualified in 3 to 4 tenders, and hopefully this will also get inducted very soon into Indian Army. So this is just a glimpse of our BotLab store. Fortunately, it's doing quite well. Just within 6 months, it has gained a lot of traction, and we are addressing demand from all over India, and now some orders are coming from abroad as well. And our expertise at BotLab has been in miniaturizing the systems, and I am pretty sure when you build satellite and all, so the challenge that you experience of miniaturizing is tremendous. Our experience of building a larger drone to smaller, it was a huge challenge of managing heat and noise, and then we learned that this is where you need to build your focus on, and that actually leads to whether you're talking about defense application or drone light show application. It really boils down to how efficiently can you build a small system which is stable. And again, I'm very proud to say that, and in fact, when I put this on LinkedIn, this post went viral overnight. And really humbles me and also excites me and also makes me sad at some point that in India, we do not really have a capability. I mean, a small product that you make and you realize building small things, this went like lakhs over a night. And so it brings your attention and to investors, to innovators, that still the ecosystem for building hardware is very limited in India. And we have a long way to go, no matter what application of robotics we are building. The challenges are tremendous, and when you make a small drone, the excitement is a lot, and it makes you realize that a lot of works need to be done around building technology. And by the way, it wasn't an easy project for us either. It took us 2+ years to build this drone. And what is so special about this drone and why it got covered widely, it's not just the body, just the electronics, the RF and everything, including the antenna, was built and designed by us, and that's why it took tremendous amount of challenges and work on our side. I mean, I know Ankit is sitting somewhere here, so we are not crossing into Idea Forge, and but we are dreaming big as we grow. So we want to build larger drones which are helicopter mounted and can go hundreds of kilometers. But again, we are not going as big as Ankit. We are somewhere in the mid-range. And so our expertise would be that we make a drone which is foldable and can be launched from helicopter. And in addition to surveillance, it can have a payload which is explosive in nature, and we hope that we can achieve this within 2 to 3 years. And that would be a very big project, but we think it's possible. I'm not competing with you, Suhash, but I also got to meet Prime Minister and President. I mean, that's the perk of a founder of a tech company that you get. And without shame, I'm saying that I enjoy it very much. And so our team is now grown to over 250 people, mostly engineers, and everybody is driven for deep tech. And the situation, I mean, the condition in India is looking really nice, and I always tell all the investors, if you are looking to invest, drone is the space after satellites. Thank you so much. And if you have any question, I'm available now and later. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sarita. I'd like to invite Professor Umapati of Gyroid Photonics up next.
Oh.
Oops. Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm going to share our startup, which started about three years ago. So it's a technology based on 35 years of work at IISc, almost about 12 patents, many of them are patented both in the US and in India. So the company is called Gyroid Photonics. Oh, it doesn't, okay. Because it's LCD screen, so the lasers they get absorbed light, so you don't see the light. So, So Gyroid is a three-dimensional helical material, which is a futuristic material, which is good for potentially for photonic emission. And that's the reason we thought we'll call it Gyroid Photonics. So the work is basically about laser spectroscopy, interacting lasers with materials and chemicals, and therefore look at the signal that comes out, scattered light that comes off samples, and then you measure the frequency and amplitude of the outgoing signal, convert them into AI data analytics, and then look at what is the material that we are looking for. So you can see here that you can put a laser beam into a chemical or a mixture of chemicals. You will get frequencies which are coming out. Those frequencies can be measured, and they come as a series of spectra, or as you can see, a large number of spectra you can measure, and then you put it into deep learning, train them to recognize these frequencies and amplitude, and the permutation combination of various pixels of vertically and horizontally, and therefore pick out the information that you need. The unique advantage is that we can penetrate in the potential applications we have done so far. We go up to about 8 to 10 millimeter into the container, and we can see what is inside without opening a bottle or a packet or a parcel. In the laboratory, we have gone up to 12 centimeter. We have actually even demonstrated, patented light penetration of about 12 centimeter in the chicken tissue, and hiding a small ammonium nitrate pellet of 1 centimeter diameter at a random angle. We can scan them, image it, and show exactly where the ammonium nitrate is located in a tissue. So that was actually done to demonstrate potential scanning of humans in the future. So we can do chemical mixtures. We can even find out up to 5% by volume mixed up with something. But we have done in the laboratory up to 1%, depending on the quality of sample. But practically, we have done it at the airport. For example, 5% hydrogen peroxide mixed in water, which is a dangerous chemical. The advantage of something like that is instantaneous, which means within a second you can see it on the screen what the material is. The sample is non-destructive, so the sample is always available, and it's particularly important in the security sector because they need evidences which has to be seen again. Because they are all chemical related, the areas in which people expect this business to be is in healthcare, security, pharma. Pharma, you have quality control, process control, manufacturing, FMCG, raw material identification, repetitive purchase of raw materials, quality of raw materials, and petrochemical industry, counterfeits to oil, shipping, oil industry, and you have perfumes, alcohols, and counterfeits. In addition to luxury goods, for example, we have worked with Tanishq in identifying true diamonds, because high pressure, high temperature diamonds are almost very close to natural diamond, but we have shown that we can differentiate that using this technique. And of course, things like silk, for example, Tanera brought some samples of silk saris, and we showed them. They said they had brought one sari which was actually a counterfeit, another one was real, and we could see that the real sari, both axes were true silk. In the counterfeit, one axis was polyester, the other axis was silk, but it feels like silk. So that's the kind of applications are there. And of course, as you know, being in the laboratory, we could do all of these when I was a professor. Of course, coming into being a startup, they ask, what product are you going to make? So we dropped everything and stuck to 2 products, and I'm going to show you what we did. So this is the first example of what we have done. So what you see on the right is a technology you might see in the airport sometime in the future. We have tried that in Bangalore airport for 3 months, completed last month. Traditionally, what people do is they look at, let me see. So if you look at this is what they do in most places around the country and around the world. When they find a material, if they want to know whether it is explosive or a narcotics, they have kits available like this. You can buy them and then mix them and see what color it comes. If the color comes right, they know it's an explosive or narcotic. And that's the number of issues. One is, it has a lifetime. And also, once if you use it, you can't reuse it again. And this takes time. So you have to take this sample to the instrument. But what we do is, we have here, what you're seeing here is, this one is our system. We have a laser beam that's coming out of this probe. Somebody hold the probe, and you can look at, for example, if you have a suitcase, you open the suitcase, you want to find out what these are, we can actually show and then get the signal, and you can see it on the screen on the top. So ideally, Bangalore Airport suggested that they would like to have it in checked-in baggage, hand baggage when you're carrying, when they're isolating your bag in the X-ray, when they say you open it and explain what it is. There, for example, many a time the CISF staff told us it's very unpleasant conversation with the passenger when they suspect something. So if they have a technology which can confirm, they would like to do it. They also have a crew terminal. Interestingly, I also learned a lot of crew, airline crews, when they are traveling on long flights. For example, Bangalore, San Francisco is a 16-hour flight. It seems some of them carry food. They don't want to eat the airline food. So the CISF staff said it's very uncomfortable. We see these people every day going through us. And when they see the food, we ask them, why are you carrying? You're not allowed. For example, pickles is not allowed, but they carry. So they said they would like to confirm whether it is okay or not. And the cargo, of course, obviously. And catering. There is a catering terminal in Bangalore Airport, and they wanted us to test that. So we went to the ministry. The ministry allowed us to do it first a trial at the checked-in baggage. So in Terminal 1 at checked-in baggages, we tried. And you can see the kind of things that people carry. What you're seeing here on this side actually was taken from suitcases in the checked-in baggages. I'm just giving you an example. There's a lot more than this, but I'm just showing you. But questions like this, for example, you ask the passenger what it is, and you have to trust them or not trust them. That's the way they take decisions. So what now we are doing is, because of this, for example, somebody was carrying paint thinner in a bottle like this in a checked-in suitcase, which is highly flammable, dangerous. When they asked them what it is, he said coconut oil. And of course, my team immediately, they said, please check. So we checked, he said it's flammable. So we asked him, what is this flammable? He said, I use it to clean my paint. So it is basically a paint thinner. So so it's a highly flammable. And some of these, for example, they say that it is Deepam oil, and then ends up being petrol, because they use it for some other purpose. So things like that, which are dangerous. But unfortunately, for example, the existing technologies is not easy to do. The ETD, which is, you might have seen a small box, they do a swab, and then they put it in the machine. That actually identifies the trace material present on the top of the suitcase. If a suitcase is extremely shiny and you don't have any roughness, you can't even do that. That doesn't work. The second thing is that there's a lot of false positives, because if you use pesticides, you could actually get signal for an explosive. And similarly, X-ray. X-ray only gives you the color of the material that is inside the suitcase. It doesn't tell you what it is chemically. Therefore, this is useful. So this is a comparison of our technology. For example, this is our technology, and this is a comparison with the X-ray. This is a report that is now going to Minister of Civil Aviation after 3 months of test. What you see on the right side again is something that what we found in suitcases and packages. And so we were able to help them identify all of these without opening these boxes and bottles. So what do we have in the portfolio? We have, this is all something is available. We are actually working on making this. This will be ready in another month and a half. And this we expect that maybe by March 26, we'll have handheld models. The Indian Parliament has specifically requested to screen handheld systems when people are coming in. And these are others which are available. We have proof of concept is ready. And now when somebody wants it, and the potential officers are BSF, narcotic boards, CISF, and all the defense forces, airports and public ports, including shipping ports and all that, in addition to forensic labs and state police department, state narcotics department. So this is generally broadly about security product. This is something is ready for market. The next one is about healthcare. Now, healthcare is, our basic premise. We started working on this since 2008 in IISc with many of my colleagues in biology department. And so everyone works on, somebody works on genetics, somebody on bacteria, somebody on infection, immunology. So we had projects in each one of them, and that's how we learned. One thing we learned very quickly is that the first thing that happens in your body as soon as you have a disease attack is your chemical changes starts happening. The biochemicals in your body starts responding. And many a times if you're infected, if you're extremely healthy and your immune system is functioning well, you will not even know that you had an infection and that's gone. Only when the immunity is low or if the concentration of attack is much larger, the chemical changes starts happening. When the antibody increases, your temperature goes up, you start feeling pain. And therefore, by monitoring the chemical composition in body fluids, you will be able to, in principle, identify the disease. So when we go to the doctor today, unless you tell the doctor what's wrong with you, they cannot even guess what is wrong. So you have to say, I have pain here, these are the symptoms. Then they do some lab test and then make a guess of what it is. And nowadays, when you do scanning and all tests you do, it's also time-consuming, cost-consuming. And there could be human errors because of many samples are done at the same time. There are mistakes of images being manipulated. And so diagnosis onset is a bit late, and so there's a risk for life. So what is our solution is, can we actually do prognosis? So by looking at body fluids, can we tell you what diseases are upcoming? So we have a number of patents on this. You can look at them online. And ours is, preferably non-invasive, so you can actually look at signals without having to take sample out. And the kind of thing we are looking at is, for example, blood plasma, skin surface, cancer cells, tissues, all this we have done before. But of course, we have to, as you can see here, the kind of body fluids we are looking at is sweat, tears, mucus, saliva, gastric juice, and CSF, cerebral spinal fluid, the urine, semen, etc. So what is that we have right now? So we have a technology which is actually got certified by Ministry of Health, CDSCO. This is the machine what you're looking at. What he has is that if somebody has acute inflammation and get into organ failure because the inflammation is beginning to reach uncontrollably, when the antibody concentration goes up, if it is not treated immediately, it starts attacking our own organs. Our own antibodies start attacking our own organs. Therefore, the organ starts failing, and that's called sepsis. This can happen while you're at the ICU or while you're outside if you haven't treated yourself well. And therefore, this happens. 50% of death in the world in ICU is because of sepsis, which is well documented. All over the world, sepsis is an issue. It's not straightforward to find a solution. So this is a problem we started with animal models in 2012. By 2016-17, we figured out we could actually see very unique biomarkers for sepsis in plasma, blood plasma. So from animal models, we moved on to human models. By 2018, we had enough results to file a patented it. And of course, now we are working with Spurge Hospital chain in Bangalore. There are 4 hospitals. They send us a sample and we do them. So we compare them with our AI-trained model with them. And so we can now find out from a blood plasma sample whether somebody is healthy or they have sepsis or septic shock. There are 4 locations this is potentially useful, according to the CEO of hospitals with whom I've spoken. Number 1 is identifying ICU patients arrive. They take the blood, they send it off for blood test, which takes about 24 hours to 48 hours before the blood tests come back with enough bacterial information. And so in those times, the organ failure can be worse, so the patient can go into serious issues. So ours can do it in 10 minutes. You take the blood, take a plasma, put a drop in our micro. So this is your window that you can open, and this is connected to a laptop, so it controls the signal and then gives you a full report as to whether it is sepsis or not. The other thing that happens is transplant surgeons. When they do a transplant, whether it is heart, liver, other transplant, after the operation, doctors leave the patient in ICU, and then suddenly 8 hours, 24 hours later, they develop complication. Such complication could be also because of sepsis, because the patient's wound is very fresh, and because of transplant operations, the patients are made immunocompromised a little bit, and therefore they can pick up bacteria quickly. So this is something that transplant surgeons told us that they would like to have a technology like that. The third one is, for example, almost 30% of patients who leave ICU come back within 90 days. And therefore, they complain to the hospital that they got the infection while they were leaving the hospital. So the doctors told us that they need a discharge summary, that they would like to do this. Finally, the last one is, when somebody wants to start operating, they ask the person to come a day earlier inside the hospital to do all the tests. And sometimes they pick up infection and come. During the operation, suddenly the infection becomes sepsis. So they would like to do a test 1 or 2 hours before the operation starts and confirm that there is no sepsis or inflammation, so the patient case is easily handled. So these are the potential applications. So the hospitals are, multi-chains or individual ICUs. These are the potential. We have other technology which are ready. Respiratory infection, we have already published it. It's in the public domain. We can identify between contagious versus non-contagious respiratory infection. And we are now working on non-invasive blood analysis and body fluids. So this is where the Gyro Health can go. Prognosis, which can go into sepsis, infections, rare diseases, hereditary diseases, and any disease that you can. These are all potential applications. And finally, where the company is going is this. There are 4 verticals we have suggested. One is Gyro Health, another one is Gyro Mat, which is diamonds, gems, silk, and counterfeits. You have Gyro Security, which can identify various threats. And of course, Gyro Tech is basically custom-made technologies. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Umapati. I request Aditya from Frinks to take the stage.
Video? It's just a small animation. It will play on its own.
Just a moment. Can I lift it up?
No, it doesn't have any audio. It's fine.
You have a pointer.
Okay. Very good afternoon, everyone. We'll start with a quick introduction. I'm Aditya, founder of Frinks AI. And after all the presentations from IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, it feels like I'm representing my institute more than the company. At Frinks AI, we are building advanced AI technology for visual inspection and quality control in the manufacturing production lines. Our core founding team includes myself, Dharmagya, and Shubhra. All 3 of us graduated together from IIT Hyderabad. And similar to GalaxEye and BotLab Dynamics, our journey also began in a small dorm room of IIT Hyderabad. We started this company in 2020, graduated together in 2021, and since then it has been an amazing journey. We've assembled a team of 70+ members. We have raised $6.25 million in venture capital funding, and we have automated more than 2,000+ production lines with our AI system. Thesis behind building Frinks AI is very simple. Manufacturing has historically relied on 2 primary human skills: human motor skills to move things around, and human cognitive skills to take certain decisions and perform inspections. Now, while precision robots and mechanical systems have largely automated various kind of human motor skills in manufacturing, but cognitive tasks still remain heavily human dependent, right? The idea behind Frinks AI was, if AI as a technology evolves in the future, it will have the ability to automate all of these various human cognitive tasks in the manufacturing that will truly bring us closer towards the dark factory concept people have been talking about from several years now. Currently, across factories on the global stage, they have around 20% of the workforce employed towards various basic visual inspection tasks. Yet factories face hundreds of customer complaints per site, could lose up to 15% of their sales revenue. We have had several legacy machine vision technologies. It's been around for last 4 decades, but they are very high in error rates and very limited in the applications. What we are doing at Frinks AI is that we are trying to develop world's most reliable AI solution to automate various visual cognitive tasks on the manufacturing shop floor. focusing more on the quality control to start with. There are two verticals where we invest our major amount of R&D. First, as I mentioned, in building the most reliable AI solution, and to tackle that problem, we have been building our own foundational models that's suitable for the key challenges in the manufacturing sector. We have recently applied for a patent on our foundational technology as well. The business outcome of this foundational technology has been that today we are a company which provides a commitment of 99.99% plus accuracy across various visual inspection use cases that we automate for our customers. And why is this important? Because when we talk about products, let's say of Tesla or Apple, customers have a sense of comfort that they are going to get a consistent quality across every iPhone that they buy, right? But if your quality system itself has an error rate of 5 to 10%, then you cannot ensure such quality in the product that you manufacture. And hence, this reliability aspect of the technology becomes very critical in this category. Alongside building a reliable AI technology, we have also focused on building a scalable AI technology. Because manufacturing, as we know, is very diverse. We have millions of products across categories, from automobile to consumer goods to medical devices. Building a system that can adapt to all of these different production scenarios has always been very challenging. That's where we developed our very intricate no-code platform through which we enable even non-technical persons to build highly complex visual inspection projects for various applications in the manufacturing industry that makes it truly scalable across different segments. We have 4 AI modules or pipelines, whatever you want to call it, for key applications in manufacturing. First is assembly inspection AI, dimensioning inspection AI, cosmetic inspection AI, and label inspection AI. These modules could be quickly configured for any product category, as I mentioned, across automobile, medical devices, pharmaceutical, consumer goods, aerospace, electronics, you name it. How does the system work? It's fairly simple. We have industrial cameras on the shop floor. It continuously captures images and videos of every product that is getting manufactured. This data is consumed by the domain-specific model that we have trained and deployed on the shop floor. The entire inferencing takes less than 100 milliseconds, and results are delivered in the near real-time scenario. It's a completely vertically integrated solution. It's designed in a modular way to communicate with other factory systems like PLCs, SCADAs, ERPs, etc., so that we can have a very wholesome automation in place. And we're a pure play software company. The technology is hardware agnostic, works with all standard set of cameras available in the market, all standard set of servers and other systems. One of the key advantages that manufacturers get from our technology is in the real-time visibility throughout the manufacturing value chain. So we recommend our customers to integrate this at each and every critical juncture in their production process, so that they can map the inspection data with the product IDs and can create complete traceability for future records. So that's one of the key advantages. Alongside, our technology have helped manufacturers to maximize their production throughput. With the same production line, with the same setup, they tend to manufacture more when they automate tedious manual inspection tasks. It helps them to minimize rework, scrap, and product recalls, bring down the cost of quality by over 60%, and help them achieve their zero defect manufacturing goals. I'll skip through this one. As a team, we are 70 plus members now. This technology has found its way across 80 plants. We have 2,000 plus AI systems deployed. We work with a lot of partners globally, and we have addressed to 10 plus manufacturing verticals. So we are truly building a technology that's going to have a large scale impact at the overall manufacturing. As I said, we started in 2020. It was the pre-final year of our IIT. We were just doing some experiments around ideas that we had in mind. We graduated later in 2021, and we picked up pace in 2022 when we raised our seed round of funding. It's been an amazing journey, but there's a lot more to go. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
First the Q&A, then the video. Yeah, our last speaker is Ankit Poddar of ZedBee Technologies. And after that, we'll have some time for Q&A. Maybe, so please think of all the questions that you want to put in the firing line for the founders while Ankit speaks.
So, very good afternoon. My name is Ankit. I'm representing a company called ZedBee Technologies. I'm so glad to be here amongst all the delegates over here. Thank you, Rajiv and Dr. Ranjan, for having me here. It's the last presentation, and I know it feels a bit awkward for me also because I'm trying to be as simple as possible after hearing so much of deep technologies over here. So my presentation, the company that I run is basically targeting the large climate problems of the country. Fundamentally, if you look at the air conditioning system, the heating ventilation, India consumes almost 40% of the overall energy. And our study says that 35% of this energy is getting wasted for the air conditioning cooling, primarily for the three reasons, and I'll come how we have identified. Number one is many of the places are getting overcooled, which is not required for the comfort. The second is many of the places which is not occupied. For example, if you see this large space also, many of the spaces outside which is not occupied, the central AC keeps running, and of course it consumes a lot of amount of energy. And the last is, people have the tendency to forget to turn off the AC. These are very simple three statements that I'm making. But, fundamentally we realized that it's so easy to solve this problem, but why people have not done it was an eye-opener. So my journey started at 2013 at the IIT Research Park campus, when the then professor in charge, Professor Ashok, who was my guide that time, called me at his office and says, Ankit, the research park that I am running, the research park is in a kind of a little messy situation because the air conditioning systems over there are not running properly. And we have explored a lot of technology, but can IIT do something? So that was the day when we started to understand what is an air conditioning system in a large commercial buildings runs like this. And fundamentally, we realized that there are only simple machines. On the left-hand side, you see a large air handling unit that throws the cold air in the office on that side. And we all know, and I think most of us would have realized that the front portion of the office get extremely overcooling. The last part doesn't get the proper air supply. And many of the spaces which is not occupied is, kind of wasting energy. So with our products, I will simplify my solutions into 3 products. Though we have a lot of SKUs, but I'm trying to be as simple as possible, where we have reduced the heat load demand by up to 70%. This is really eye-opener for us by many of the deployments that we have done, but we have actually done it. So the number one product that we have launched over a time is a diffuser. Now, this is a very crude image. This is one of our first prototype. You must have seen these are the very standard diffusers that every offices have. Now, while working with customers like Cognizant, HCL, the first, the problem statement came to us, we don't even know whether the AC is working or not working. So we converted the fixed diffuser into a visual one, where you can see how the grills are opening and closing. And over a time, we have evolved into a product like that, which comes with a lot of sensors inside this, with the Wi-Fi chips and all, which understands occupancy presence, where are people sitting, how many people are sitting, and basis that, it automatically regulates the air supply. So it's a very plug-and-play system. Over a time, we have evolved it, which understands the requirement and accordingly adjusts the air conditioning requirement for your office. So this kind of thing has given us almost a reduction of 70% demand in the air conditioning system at offices. I'm just showing some data from our customer. So it is a 1-month data taken in the month of May, peak summer, which is an eye-opener again for us, because if you don't have the electronics, your air conditioning is running almost all the time. But when we have deployed the diffuser, over time, not a single day, it has crossed 20% of its average usage. So it really shows that you don't need to run the air conditioning for almost 100% of the time, which is killing so much of energy. But when you deploy right sensors and right technology, you are optimizing a lot of things. So this is for one diffuser. Now, when I scale to the entire office where I have 20, 30 diffusers like that for a 3,000 square feet office, you really see the kind of average usage that it is there. Out of 20, 25 diffuser, only few of diffuser is running at 50% capacity, rest is all under 20%. So this kind of data, when we take into account and control the machine, it gives us a drastic energy reduction. So this is on one side where I'm controlling the air distribution. The second comes the air handling unit, which also we make the AI-powered electronics for it, which controls the fan speed, the chill water supply, the fresh air controls, the metering part of it, the BMS integration. Everything is built into one chip, which not only reduces your OPEX, but also reduces a lot of your initial capex for the automation. So over a time, we have built a lot of these devices to cater to the air conditioning solution. And these are the graphs where in some of the offices, we have reduced the power by 30-35% at different stages by implementing different things, just by targeting the air conditioning machines. One of our recent deployment have shown up to 70% reduction in the energy. And I want to disclaim that, of course, you have to have the heat load diversity, because if you have a constant heat load, we may not be able to reduce the energy. But when people are moving in and out and you have a lot of open spaces, a lot of cabins which are not occupied, your energy is drastically reduced over here. Last but not the least, the third product, which is also very important for us, is a simple device we have built, which can actually connect to different types of energy meter just to understand where is your energy density, which area is consuming. Because if you take a large IT park, there's a lot of complexities in that area and things like that. So a very simple way to collect the data, where by collecting the data, we build very dashboards and AI to model the energy demands, the peak demands, and how to balance the renewables, how to have your storage and everything. So these are the three things. One is we control the air conditioning machines, and we also have a lot of analytics by hardwares and all. So we are on the verge of now scaling things up. We have proven the technology, we are revenue generation, and keeping finger crossed, will be EBITDA positive in this financial year. So looking to partner with many government bureaucrats and organizations like EESL to scale this up, because this is really proving the way. I recall the time when we had the incandescent bulbs, which was consuming 100 watts. Now we have LEDs that consume 5 to 10 watts. The same thing we are looking at the air conditioning, that it is such a high power guzzler, but by implementing the right technologies, it will really change the power consumption of the air conditioning system. Thank you so much. Looking forward to your questions.
Thank you, Ankit. We have about 5-7 minutes for any questions for any of the founders. So if you could please let us know if there are questions here that you'd like to do. Of course, in any case, you can ask them offline as well, but anyone? I think everyone's, yeah. Sarita, you have a question. Great.
Hello, Ankit, I have a question for you. How much excitement do you see for adoption of this technology? Obviously, it's a need of the hour, but do you see big companies adapting or approaching you to optimize their energy consumption?
Yeah, of course, when we see the kind of power reductions we have, there's a lot of excitement that we as our founders get it. But frankly, when we go to companies to have the adoption done, the real challenge that we face, of course, is a business model, because everyone says that when you're saving energy, you please prove the ROI. But right now at a stage where we are, where our, the challenge is the cost, because we are really building things at a very low volumes. So definitely when we make things at a low volume, the cost is very high. And given the certain gross margin that we have to keep in our account, sometimes it becomes challenging for us to convince the ROI. But there are a lot of companies like, MNCs like HCL, Cognizant, Google, where ROI is still not a very concern, because when I club the carbon credits and everything, this is, taking it forward. But it is really, when I meet the CXOs of the large companies, they really want to adopt such things. So I'm looking forward that we are in the edge where, I can scale things up by bringing the cost down, where it can be a mass adoptions.
But what is the smallest volume that your company addresses?
So we start with minimum 150 to 200 tons of air conditioning. It is really challenging for us to go for a very small AC like 10 ton, 20 ton, because again, the cost of technology versus to that kind of an air conditioning doesn't go well into the system right now. But I'm hoping that in next 1 year, 1.5 years, we'll bring down the cost where such small, the air conditioning of a smaller capacity can also be catered to.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Sarita. Any other questions for any of the other founders? Okay. I think everybody would rather ask offline. In which case, I am going to ask you to play the Navam video, and then we're going to go on to our next speaker.